Hey guys, it is Friday, March 5th, 2021. We're going to go over our social studies lesson for Western Hemisphere diversity, and we're going to do part of our show it. So, groups that had cultural influences on the United States were Native Americans, different types of Europeans from different countries, people of Asian people from different countries, and African people from different countries. Don't forget, these are all free continents. So they are not one country each. And Native Americans had different cultures inside the larger span of Native Americans too. What influences do you guys think that these groups had on the New World? So Native Americans, they were the first people to populate the country, the United States. So they gave us everyday English words that we use today. So chipmunk, skunk, a lot of places in Ohio as well. Ohio itself is a native word from Ohio. If you've ever been northwest of here in Tuscarawas County, Tuscarawas is a Native American word as well. And religion there was with them was typically based on religion. Religion was based on religious spirits and nature. And they passed down their traditions through storytelling. So verbal storytelling from one person actually speaking to another is how they pass down their traditions and their stories. So they shared their knowledge of agriculture with the incoming settlers. So European influences. So Britain, they brought the English language. They owned the colonies until the Revolution. They contributed foods like tea, wheat, barley, cane sugar, coffee. Where would we be without coffee? Pigs, sheep, and cattle. So a lot of those things we consider staple agriculture today, like bare bones agriculture, is they contributed. So the French brought the language, their language, which is still spoken in Quebec, Canada today. Please don't come for me if that's not how you say Quebec. That's just how I've always said it. They spread the Catholic religion. Typically in England, people were Protestant. Not all of them. People that came to the New World from England were typically Protestant. Not all of them, but a majority. And they brought food such as escargot, which is snails, and croissants. Much better than snails. Spain also brought that Catholic religion. And France and Spain still have a lot of Catholic religions to this day. They have a lot of churches, a lot of people who are Catholic. They brought the Spanish language, which is still spoken in Mexico and a vast majority of Central and South America. Almost every country in Central and South America speaks Spanish today. They also speak some native languages, and Brazil speaks Brazilian Portuguese. So they also spread that Catholic, and they wanted Native Americans to convert to Catholic Christianity. So Germany, there's a very large population around here of people descended from Germans. They influenced food. They brought barbecue, coleslaw, hot dogs, and hamburgers. So if you like cookouts, thank the Germans. They encouraged meals to be the centerpiece of holiday festivities, which just means that they would like to get together on holidays and eat and hang out like we do today. If you celebrate Christmas, it's very common to get together on Christmas and eat with family and friends, and that was a big thing that they did. Asian influence, they brought spices and foods such as sushi and curry, those foods that we love. They brought religions such as Buddhism, Confucianism, and Hinduism. So typically those religions are what we call polytheistic, which means they have many gods. Whereas people who are Catholic and Protestant, there's Christian and Muslims, are monotheistic, which means they believe in one God. They added yoga and acupuncture to the healthcare system. We know what yoga is, but acupuncture is a system of putting needles in skin to make someone feel better. It brought the language of Japanese and Chinese, which are two distinct languages, and they are different, very different from English, which stems from German, and French and Spanish, which are considered Romance languages, and they're very similar as well. Going back to acupuncture, it is a trained thing. Do not try it at home. That's my public service announcement. Do not try it at home. The furnaces in the colonies were based on Chinese heating technology, so they based it on what the Chinese had already invented. So African influence, a vast majority of Africans were brought here against their will in slavery. Remember we talked about the Middle Passage and people who were put on those ships, and a lot of them didn't survive. We talked about Equiano and his description of the passage here and how awful and terrible it was. And a lot of people didn't survive. The galling of the chains, which means the chains making noise. They brought a lot of names for things, such as gumbo, which is a big soup, okra, which is a vegetable, and banjo, which is a musical instrument. They incorporated music into the New World, particularly jazz, blues, and gospel. They had great knowledge of rice production and how to grow rice. They brought foods such as koala nuts, used in cola beverages, and black-eyed peas, which are a vegetable. I believe that is my last one. Yes. All right. Now we're going to get into our show it. You're going to go either to 3rd or 7th period, depending on your class. I'm going to go to 3rd period because it's up. Can't get this off. Sorry, guys. You're going to scroll down to week 9, Friday. Lesson 56, Western Diversity, Show It. All right. Oh, there are different pages, so I'll do one on each page. All right. The British, French, Spanish, and German colonists brought what culture to the New World? That's European culture. They brought European culture. All right. For more than 200 years, who were transported across the Atlantic Ocean against their will and forced to work in the Americas? Africans. Africans were enslaved. All right. I'm going to do some matching with you. They introduced recipes and spices to Western foods that are still served in restaurants and eaten in American homes. Stir-fried rice and vegetables, sushi, deep-fried foods, and curry are just a few examples. The wok and chopsticks came from this culture. That'll be Asian influences. B, Asian influences. Yours might be different. Their influences were seen as American art in American art and architecture. Churches and homes had thick stone walls divided by small openings and long balconies supported by wooden structures. That's European influences. All right. Their influences were incorporated into into music culture, jazz, blues, and gospel genres, and were all started by this culture, African influences. African influences. They were the first people to populate the country and had a large influence on the colonial settlers. As Native Americans. Native Americans were the first people to populate the country. All right, you guys can do the other couple. I know you can. I have total faith in you. Have a great day, and make sure you do your other work too.